All right, Josh, aka Jesus.
Yes.
How old are you, man?
Currently 42 years old.
You're 42. All right. Where did you grow up, man?
Central Victoria.
Yeah,
Yeah, grew up in Wallen.
Wallen. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know Wallen.
yeah. So it's halfway in between Melbourne and the border. So
Yeah. Did you grow up there with your parents and everything?
yeah, I was a lovely only child.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, mum and dad moved. I think from I think it was called Bundura when I was about a year old. But
Yeah.
I was in the same house in Wallen for about 17 years. I think 16 out of the 17 years I lived in Wallen.
Yeah.
And the first year I was in Bundura, but I can't remember that being one. So
Bandura, as in northern suburbs.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Bundura, Greensboro, wherever it is over that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they moved when I was one, and I was there till I was 17, so 16 years.
So you're in Bandura when you're 16 or
No,
17?
no, when I got come out of hospital, we lived in Bundura from the time I was born
Yeah.
to the time I was one,
Oh, okay.
12 months old. Then
Yeah.
we moved to Wallen in 1983,
Yeah.
and then I lived there till 1999.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, right. It's quite nice up there, I reckon.
yeah,
Wallen.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's massive now. It was a quiet town
Yeah.
way back in the day, but
Yeah. Everywhere.
back in the 90s it was quiet, but now it's fairly.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
everywhere, man. It's all growing. What about brothers and sisters?
That's one of the greatest lines my mum's ever said. I
Yeah.
said to mum, "How come I don't have any brothers or sisters?" She goes, "You can't perfect on perfection." So I said, "Oh, thanks for the compliment." No, mum and dad were married before themselves.
Yeah.
So I did ask them, did I have, once I found that out, I said, "Do I have any half brothers or sisters because you've had children with other people?" And they said, "No, we never had
Oh, really?
children with them." So yeah,
So you're one of a kind.
yeah, I'm my only child. So it was always weird going to sleepovers.
Yeah.
You go to a sleepover and there's like four sisters and a brother and cousin and
Yeah.
whatever else. So yeah, we had mum and dad, myself, and a pet cat and a dog.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, no siblings, which is it's a 50-50. Every time something went excellent, all me. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Anytime something goes sideways, I didn't have any brothers or sisters to one either, but not me, it's them, or I'm in trouble. How do I get out of it? Can you come and sort it out for me? Yeah, I was just always, you kind of like left hanging. You got to sort it out yourself.
No one to
So
blame.
yeah, people think I'm independent, but it's just kind of like the way I grew up as an only child. That
Yeah.
didn't really have a choice. It was just basically me against the world sort of thing. But
Yeah. So you probably get a good understanding of yourself then, wouldn't you?
yeah,
Being sort of only child. Yeah.
yeah.
So where's the nickname Jesus come from?
Uh, it was about 15 years ago. I just shaved my head one day. I went to the barbers, shaved the head. I've had undercuts, crew cuts, spiked hair, bleached hair, green hair, whatever, and I just had it shaved. And I thought I'm not going to cut it for like a year. Then it turned into 2 years and 3 years, and eventually I had it trimmed.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just did the same thing with the goatee here. I just kept growing it and growing it, and
Yeah.
then if I introduce myself to someone as Josh,
Yeah.
and they go, "Oh, what's your name? What's your name? The dude that looks like Jesus or whatever." And then my name starts with a J, and I'm 6 foot tall, and I got long brown hair, and
Yeah.
I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
and my name, yeah. So yeah, Joshua's in the Bible and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
at work they called me Jesus,
Yeah.
and then in prison they called me Jesus, and
Yeah.
my son's friends call me Jesus, and
Yeah.
I moved
Right.
into the hostel, and it's like, "Hey,
Everyone.
you, Jesus."
Yeah.
So it's kind of stuck. Everyone goes it's self-proclaimed, but as I said, that's just what everyone keeps calling me. I'd love not a cooler name than that, but
That's a pretty
yeah,
cool name,
yeah,
man. That's probably one of the coolest names you could get.
yeah,
Yeah, I envy that goatee too, mate. It's a killer goatee.
yeah. The question is how long do I grow it for or cut it for? So
Yeah.
I think it was trimmed all the way about up here about last I don't know April. I think
Oh,
it was.
really?
Yeah, a lady friend cut my hair a bit shorter. She was sick of it being so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to cut my hair up to here, cut it right up. But I said a little bit of a trim. She cut it like 3/4 of the way up.
Yeah.
But and she cut about 5 inches off my hair, but it's just been growing
Yeah.
ever since.
I
So yeah,
reckon it looks good as it is, man.
yeah. Oh, it's 50-50. Both guys and girls. 50% people just love it and adore it. I went past a lady that was working for Berry Street the other day. Hey, can you help out our foundation? Can you do this and that? She goes, "I love your hair." She starts playing with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people say we hate it and chop your
Yeah.
hair short.
Yeah.
And other people say they love it. The same with the facial hair. Some people would want to see me clean shaven,
Yeah.
which is Yeah, I do it for safety reasons. You don't want to see me without one. I had it growing for about 3 years and just trimming it, and that actually happened. I'm going to say I think it was 97. That's 97. 2017 to 2018. I come down for a river cruise. Myself, my partner, the son, and she wanted it gone. I said, okay, if we're still together New Year's Eve, I'll get it done. I had to get up early to feed the animals at 12 o'clock in the midday. So my son slept in till 3, she slept in till 6. I'd accidentally gone in with the shaver, fingered off, got the cream out, complete shaven. Woke her up still with the long hair. Yeah. She was threatening to press charges. She goes, go and get it and glue it back on. She goes, no, please don't.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like me. I got long dreadlocks, and if I shaved my head, people would freak out. I reckon.
Yeah, no. We had a guy where I'm staying, the building where I'm staying, that was named Ian, and he was a carpenter, builder sort of thing on houses, and he had the same thing, but he had the undercut where it was shaved underneath, but then he had like the long dreads, about the same length as yours. So but
I actually wear like a head sock at work, so I keep all my hair covered.
Yeah, because his were probably only about half as long as yours.
Yeah.
But he used to have it back up in the ponytail and shaved underneath for that reason.
Yeah.
So he has like the two bands.
Yeah.
And he could do work, and then he finishes work, and he can let him down.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned you had a kid. You got children.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have?
One that I know of.
Kind of. You know of.
Two hypotheticals.
Oh, really?
Two hypotheticals. Two lovely young ladies.
Yeah.
That I had back in the day. Yeah. Said, is there a possibility that this pregnancy is mine?
Yeah, right.
And both the ladies say no.
Yeah.
Both the boys have grown up to look more like me than my own one that I've got, that I do have. So yeah, no, but that was a weird one, because as I said, we don't look alike at all.
Yeah.
And he got to a certain age. He's 20 now, and he said, is there a chance that people say we don't look alike, and I don't look like mum, so I must look like someone else out there. So we actually did. I said, when he was 13, I said, come back to me when you're 15, and if you're still serious about that question, I'll spend the several $100s when you're about 16, and we can get one done. So
yeah,
I sent one off to Melbourne, and unfortunately come back with a 99.96%. So it would have meant I'd spent 16 years looking after someone else's kid.
Yeah.
I knew who it would have been. One of my best friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a long Jerry Springer story.
Yeah.
Maybe for another day.
Yeah.
Not YouTube, but yeah. So I said, we'd do it for serious, but that's what it come back. But yeah.
So your son doesn't look like you reckon?
Yeah, he doesn't look like me at all.
The other two that you think could possibly be yours look like you think?
Massively. There's one child with hypothetically with another lady.
Yeah.
Whose father's about 5'8", reddish, gingerish hair, kind of reddish hair.
Yeah.
And it has like, I don't know, brown eyes.
Yeah.
But the child in question is 6'1", long brown hair, blue eyes, broad shoulders, and was good as a teenager at sports. So hypothetically, as I said, the other men raised the boys.
Yeah.
And but that's why I won't use their names. But us three, that's probably the good one though. That out of the three boys, all the fathers raised the boys, which was a bit weird.
Yeah.
The mums and dads are separated.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of. It'd be interesting to have a DNA test with the other two as to.
Yeah, I'm interested.
As to what the results are, because as I said, I'm very very close to both the mums, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lot of people a couple of years ago used to say, hang on, how are your kids going? And I'm like, I've got one that I know of.
Yeah.
But then other people were saying, well, don't you have this one with this one, and don't you have that one with that one?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Some people, as I said, say both. Aren't you the father of all three kids? So
do you speak to all three?
Oh, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. The one with the long brown hair, blue eyes and stuff. The issues with her a bit complicated.
Yeah.
With ladies being ladies, but the other one's almost still like a best friend. Yeah. Kind of. I haven't seen it this year. I've been busy doing things in Melbourne this year, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So you the biological son that you know of.
Yeah.
How old is he?
20.
20. Yeah, right. And you still got contact with him?
Absolute terrorist.
Yeah.
I do. I want to lag him into ASIO so bad. We know where a terrorist is. No, yeah, no. I went to. He had a missed court appearance,
Yeah.
and I was actually on the way to visit him because he'd got a house with his partner. And on the way out there, someone sent a messenger message to me. Hey, check your inbox or check this post on Facebook. It was actually a arrest warrant because he failed to turn up at court. And so, yeah, I had to go out to see him. And then when I got there, I said, listen, I've just signed in the police station myself. I said, if you come with me, I might be able to get you a sign-in bail. I said, otherwise you're going on remand. So I said to him that there is a 50-50. I said, if the police knock on your door or they see you out and about, you go straight to the police station, straight to remand, then you go straight to court. And if you lose your court, then you're in there for a year or two or three or four. So, yeah, I took him into the
So
court.
he went with you.
Yeah,
He went with you to the police station.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I sat him outside and went inside and said to the police, I said, so this is what's happened. I've seen this. I've gone out. I was going out there anyway. I said, this is what I've told him, that there is a 50-50 chance it could go either way. But I said, he's 100% in trouble, if he doesn't. I said, he's just sitting outside. I said, do I get him to come in on his own accord? Do you need to go out and cuff him? What do we need to do? And they said, yeah, just go out and bring him in. And they put him in the holding cells out the back to teach him a lesson. And they said, listen, he's coming of his own accord. He's coming with his father. He's coming with his partner. He has a current address to be bailed to. So yeah, I even had to sign a bit of paper saying that I would sign in the same days as him. But a couple of weeks later, I needed him to speak to my barrister about my issues, my current legal issues. And it did turn up, but about 3/4 of the way through the interview, or not the interview, but the process at the top of the building in Queen Street, my phone's going off, like Dad, I'm down the front. And it's like, yeah, we're a bit late for that. So, yeah, it's one of those ones. The building where I'm staying, due to his drug dependency issues, he actually stole the African guy's iPhone from the building I'm staying in. And I spent about 4 or 5 hours trying to get to him first before, hypothetically, any Apex gang members may find him and deal with him beforehand. Because I know if it's just him, he's in trouble. But since I know a lot of people that they may, once again, I've got the gift of the gab, that I may be able to, hang on, let's see if we can work something out first before people have to hurt people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just last night. Hey, Dad, you're awesome. Someone stole my partner's bike, and there's some people that owe us money. Can you come and sort it out for us?
All right.
And because there was one time where I was holding on to some luggage for him.
Yeah.
And I took the luggage from my building to where he was staying with his partner and his her mother and father. And the guy I was actually with sometimes gets in trouble, but once again, he's a good bloke, so we hang out. I try to look through that and just, he's a kind person to me and others. And then he goes, oh, aren't you such and such? Don't you know this person? Don't you know that person? And then he actually told me afterwards that he was actually paid once $5,000 to find him and hurt him, like a fair bit.
Yeah, right.
And so yeah, he's yeah. Well, every time I talk to his mum, that we kind of, it's almost to the point where we want him to get not locked up, but yeah, he keeps pushing buttons, knowing that the old man saves the day. But it's kind of like, yeah, what do we do? So
yeah. So he's got an addiction at the moment.
On and off, because that was the biggest one that happened with that gentleman that came with me at the time. He said that I relayed the message that he'd also said to some people that if he ever gets any other people saying that they're going to hurt my son, they're going to say, hey, this is Jesus' son. Let me go speak to Josh and let's let him bring him to justice, sort of thing, and maybe sort out the situation. But then that was the very next thing. My son said, if he wants any chips of shard or anything like that, tell him to come and see me. And I'm like, really? It just saved your bacon for the 76,000th time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, as far as I know, that
yeah. And shard is, for the people that don't know,
ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's Yeah. So as far as I know, he doesn't just use the substance. He
Mm,
doesn't really abuse it, but he also, as far as I know, I'm made aware by what he said that time that he also
mm.
passes it on for sale.
I think most people that use do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I think that's what that question was last night about the bike
Mm.
and the cash that he wanted me to go get the cash back for him, and yeah, just trying to get him to get away from that. But yeah, he doesn't seem to want to learn.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've dabbled with the ice myself at one stage, and probably for about 12 months. And the only way I could get off it was to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only way. But you have to want to get off it. You don't want to, continue that road when you're out.
Yeah.
But good on you, man, for taking him to the cop shop. If you weren't there, you probably, the coppers would have treated him like shit, and
Yeah.
it would have been a worst case scenario for him. But yeah, it sounds like a bit of a struggle. And you were saying about your court issues. You're in a bit of trouble yourself.
Yeah. It's well, I was arrested. I got in trouble back when I was 18. So yeah, I had court when I was 18, but from the time I was 20 to 40, had nothing. No speeding fines, no parking tickets, no nothing. Too busy raising a kid as a single dad. The mum was having some mental health issues, so yeah, she stepped aside when he was about 3 months old. So yeah, raising that child that we were speaking about. So yeah, he'd basically only moved out of home, kind of. He'd punched me in the face. After he hit me in the face with a table 2 or 3 times. That's the whole reason why I'm missing a big chunk of my tooth.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it was only about 2 3 months after he'd moved out. I thought, child free, go. I was on the verge of joining the International Red Cross. Actually, my job provider agency said that I said I wanted to go do that instead of staying here. She actually let me know that you'd actually need sponsorship, a bit like Mormonism, where that you need to have. I always just assumed the International Red Cross, they give me a plane ticket, I go sleep in a tent, out bush somewhere,
Yeah,
go and deliver food and parcels to people and help people out and
yeah.
deliver medicine and stuff.
It's not that
But
simple.
yeah, apparently you've got to have a sponsor of 3 to 5 grand for 12 months, 18 months. But yeah, I had
Hmm.
some issues pop up where I was suddenly arrested.
Mm.
I had about 4 or 5 people try to kill me. Yeah, one person tried to hit me, commit vehicular manslaughter, I think it's called. Someone tried to hit me with a car, and I had to jump in the front yard.
Hmm.
Another person pulled a bolt action rifle and threatened to blow my face off.
Oh wow.
So I allegedly, hypothetically, for
Yeah,
legal reasons,
yeah.
allegedly did some damage to some a motor vehicle that was going to be maybe hypothetically used to come to my joint to end my life.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was then arrested a second time, and it was informed that I'd breached my bail and committed a deliberate offence while on bail and things like that. So I was originally told at the police station where I was arrested for the second time that they were going to give me a sign-in bail and a curfew. I said that's cool. I've got animals at home. I'm just living by myself.
Mm.
So I thought I was going to be free to go within a couple of hours once they get a judge or whoever to sign off on it and give me the power authority to then sign that agreement. They
Mm.
need upper management to all agree upon it.
Yeah.
Suddenly they said I was supposed to be having court the very next day, and the courthouse is right next door in the town where I was living,
Where's that?
Seymour. So yeah, they said they came into this custody cell. We're going to get you signed out. You can get going. This, that, and other. About an hour goes by, and then the next minute they said that we're going to transport you to Shepparton. I said, well, I've got court tomorrow in the courthouse right next door to the where you walk out from underneath. It's like literally the very next building along is the Seymour Magistrates Court. So I'm like, it's going to be adjourned. You can get my bail things changed. You can keep. I thought I was going to stay in there overnight. Then they
Yeah.
said we're going to move you to Shepparton. They moved me to Shepparton. I'm thinking that still doesn't make sense. Then I was informed that they were going to take me from the custody cells the next morning and go to the Shepparton Magistrates Court, where there was going to be the bail application for bail, and that's what was going to then happen. That
Yeah.
I get the sign in bail, and I have to have a curfew lot of the alleged issues happened at night, allegedly, hypothetically.
Mm,
So they'll go do like the 8 at night to 8 in the morning, so I could still go out and go shopping and do other things.
mm.
But there was going to be like a 3-day, 5-day sign in. I've never had a sign in bail. But yeah, they said they were going to do that. So my assumption was I'd wake up in the morning. I would then go in a police car, cuffed, not cuffed, to the magistrate's court. I have to agree upon that bail, and then they'd either drop me off at the train station or I'd just walk up the road to the Shep train station. And the next minute they took me into a little TV room instead.
Oh,
And
totally cool.
and I was like, what's going on here? Because I'd been talking to the legal aid duty lady that come to the custody cells, that come down the long narrow corridor and spoke to me in the little booth. So yeah, I thought that was what was going on. But so I'm looking at this screen and I'm thinking, why are they doing a screen conference from here to there and not let me go from the courthouse like they said they were going to do? The next minute there was a lady judge or a female judge from Seymour Magistrates Court that said, Mr. Bullock, I'm going to place you on remand. You're going to have to stay there until the 10th of January 2023, and we're going to have to do this and that. And I even said to her, excuse me, Your Honour, that's like when they went to quickly just. It was very speedy how quickly it just all of a sudden happened. I'm just sitting there in dazed and confused, like, what's going on? And I just said, excuse me, Your Honour, can I just ask a question? I said, this is what I've led to believe last night, and then they said this morning. I said, now you've just said that I'm on remand. I said, I was led to believe this was my bail application. And she goes, you've been misinformed. And she just stopped talking, and that was it. So it was the very next day that I was transported to the MAP. So I was at the MAP for a little bit. And then they sent me to MRC. That was all in 2022, and then after that they sent me to. It was a lovely drive, like a 4-hour drive down to Fulham, the country club. So yeah, it happened very, very quickly. So
yeah. Yeah, wow. So that's a good example of legal aid for you. Legal aid's pretty shocking. I've been through the legal system myself, and I've been to Fulham as well. It's actually not too bad. Like, you got lodges and open lodges and everything like that.
That's why we call it the country club.
Yeah.
But that was my first day there. I won't say who I shared the bus with. I blew my mind. The person was on TV, but I said, just for them, I won't say nothing about it.
Yeah.
But that was my first day there. I got off the prison bus. They got me the different set of greens there, sort of thing, and they give you blankets and do the whole processing. I love the nurse lady there. She said that she goes, oh, have you got this? Have you got that? Have you got type 2 diabetes? Have you got whatever? She goes, you got any mental health disorders? I said, that depends on the definition of mental health. And she goes, what do you mean by that? I said, I'm a Collingwood supporter. I said, whatever. And she goes, oh, yeah. She goes, you got missing teeth. All you need now is a criminal record. So here I am being processed from one prison to another, and she's making jokes about having prison records.
Yeah.
But that was my first day. I was at the saltwater pool. I went to the gym. I played basketball. I played tennis.
Yeah.
So coming from the concrete jungle, that is MRC.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that wasn't very pleasant there. In one of the units, it was a bit aggravated at one point. But
yeah.
So so that was awesome down there. But I actually, luckily, I was lucky to get the bail because, as I said, I won't say her name, but the police informant was a bit of not very pleasant person to deal with. The judge actually told the person off because they tried to do my bail application just before Christmas. Because my legal aid lady said that she was going to try and get me out before Christmas if she could, because the minimum period of my remand was going to be set for when they have the little break in between for Christmas, New Year's. And they were going to say on technical grounds that Mr. Bullock's well good behaviour. We're just assuming that he'd behave for another 4 days. So that's why we're applying for it a couple of days early. But yeah, no, the police and informant person was 45 minutes late. It was supposed to be like one of those 2 o'clock sessions, and then they just said, "Oh, can we just adjourn it for another 3 weeks?" And my side, the barrister they had got, said, "No, not good enough." Even though I'm in prison, I've got nowhere else to go, but I was there on time. I could have been off doing whatever else I wanted to do, to still and not just turn up. So yeah, when they said, "Yeah, we'll come back in 3 hours," they come back in 3 hours, and then the police officer was about 15 minutes late. Detective officer lady, whatever rank is, but she brought about 15 those folders, and she was just going through every piece of evidence possible.
Yeah.
You know, like she had a full dress uniform on, and I'm just thinking, geez, this is, you know, a bit weird just for a bail application. And that's what he said. He goes, excuse me, I just need to stop you right there. He goes, may I remind you that this is Mr. Bullock's bail application and not his trial. He goes, purely based on his 20-year good record, even though I did get in trouble when I was 18. And the fact that you were late, and then now the fact that you're trying to turn it into a trial, and, you know,
I had no idea what was going on.
He said, basically, he goes, I've got no choice but to let Mr. Bullock go on bail. However, that was probably the biggest skew of maybe the whole prison journey with that one, was that when they granted my bail, the time of the day it was from Fulham's, that's down in Sale, it would have been 5:15. I just missed dinner muster. So, but they said by the time you go back to your unit, then you go through processing, and then you go to medical and whatever, we're going to be letting you go at like 1, 2 in the morning. So the judge said, he goes, I'm granting you bail, Mr. Bullock, but you're not free to go yet. And my understanding was that they were going to let me go first thing in the morning. They'd have it sorted, they'd have it whatever, and he would have to sign off it. As soon as he signs it and it goes through the chain of command, you have to be let out as soon as possible. He couldn't have signed it, and then they still hold me overnight. Apparently they're liable, you know, if there was a medical incident, you know, if there was a fight, whatever. But that's where I ended up having my arm injured, because they kept me there for like another 3 days. And yeah, that's where they were nice enough to let me know that I had a 1 out. Yeah. So yeah,
a 1 out is
a bedroom to yourself instead of having a bunkmate. Yeah. And my lovely bunkmate, cellmate, had got moved at the exact same time that I had, and accidentally half of my belongings went with it. Yeah, I'd requested nicely and peacefully, you know, could I have them back.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah, and he did. No, I accidentally, hypothetically, offered to squish him through the holes in the window.
Yeah.
If he didn't give them back, I did say that if he gave it all back, we could have lunch together. I don't care.
Yeah.
I said that I'd just been granted bail. You can actually have all my stuff as soon as I go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I ended up leaving from the slot. Because really? When I'd asked for it back, he'd given everything back.
And the slot is?
It's a solitary confinement for prison within a prison.
Yeah.
So, as I said, he instead of just going, yes, I have it all, here it is. You know, you can have it back, Jesus, as long as you give it back to me when you leave, like you said. But it was so annoying that he gave me like a toothbrush and toothpaste. So I went down and put it back, and then I said, can I have my shaver and stuff? And I put it back, and I went back up. Can I have this and that, please, this person? And then I just went backwards and forwards. They would have seen it on the camera about 15 times. I just went backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was standing up the top tier next to 2 of the African fellas, and they go, you know, Jesus, you know, he's coming back with the last of your stuff. And he's going to chuck it into the cell. And I've tried to grab hold of it, try to catch it. And he's slammed the door shut on my arm. I then proceeded to try, and I could see his eyes light up that he rocked back and went to go for another one. And I knew by the time I'd pulled my arm further out, there's no way that I was going to get my fingers out. And it was high up enough that the magnetic bolts on those 200-300 kilo doors they've got down to Fulham, once they suck shut, they'll shut on anything.
Yeah.
Probably even steel like a crowbar, but let alone my fingers. So I had no other choice but to stop pulling my arm out, move it down, and to block the magnetic seals. So yeah, that's how I ended up with the fracture in both the forearms.
Oof.
And yeah, I gave him an extra special cuddle in a headlock, and accidentally broke 2 of his bones.
Yeah.
In his upper neck, apparently, hypothetically, allegedly.
Yeah.
But so we were just walking out to go to the slot, and they had said, you know, why is your arm, you know, shaking a little bit? The prison officers, not screws, prison officers.
Yeah.
And he just yelled out, you know, oh, it's because I tried to chop his arm off in the cell door. And I'm like, would you just shut up? Because I was just going to go to the slot and just sit there and say nothing. They did come and interview me. That's why I was there for about 3 days, because they'd asked me what happened, and I just said I was saying goodbye to a cellmate, and that was about it. I knew it was going to take them 2 or 3 days to go over the footage. Then they sent it to Sentence Management Unit. I'm thinking, Jesus, there goes my bail application, you know, that had already been agreed to, and the judge still hadn't signed off on it yet.
That day.
Yeah, because the judge agreed to it on a Tuesday,
Yeah.
and this fight happened like the Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to
Yeah.
be tipped back to MRC or go to Port Phillip or something rather
Yeah.
than being free for Chrissy. But yeah, I was sitting in my cell. I think I was, as I said, for like 2 days or so, and then out of nowhere, they've come up to me and said that they'd I was watching the Christmas special movie, where these two ladies that look alike but weren't the same bumped into each other, and the rich lady become the mum, and the mum become the rich lady, and they
Mm.
learnt valuable life lessons. That the chick that had a lot of money was lonely, and the
Mm.
chick that was always worn out and busy because she had family was lucky enough to have a family and someone to love and care for her. So I'm watching a Christmas miracle movie sort of thing going on,
Yeah.
and they knocked on the door just after lunch. They knocked on, gave me my lunch, and yeah, they said, you got your Christmas miracle, Jesus. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They go, oh, the judges come through,
Oh, wow.
sentence management went through it all and said that, they saw the footage that, that he tried to chop my arm off in the cell door. And
Yeah.
yeah, they said, you're free to go. You just got to wait a couple of hours to be processed.
When was this in December?
December 2022. It
Like
was
close to Christmas or?
23rd of Christmas, 23rd of Christmas, 23rd of December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 2 days before Christmas. Also saved my hair. Also, I had agreed to, once again, a certain cellmate who kept saying, Jesus, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. I said, all right, if I'm still here Chrissy morning, you can shave the lot. The face, the hair, the everything. So,
Uh,
yeah, it's the only reason that saved my hair was the fact that I'd gotten out. So,
well, so did your Sally take your stuff when you went to court, like expecting you to get out? And
no, when I'd gotten back and I said that I've gotten bail and, the judge will be signing it tomorrow. So then that's what happened. As soon as the doors opened the next day on the Wednesday, they're like, can this person, and myself, go to the prison officer's box? And
mm,
they're like, this is it. You're moving to that room and you're moving to that room. And Jesus,
uh,
you've got one as well. And while I was talking to one of the officers, prison officers, about, I've got to do this course. I'm working over here. I'm doing this.
yeah,
Do I need to do it right now, or can I do it after lunch, muster? So it doesn't. Have you guys already changed the
yeah,
cell numbers so they don't stuff you around? So I was just asking the guy about that.
mm,
I saw at the corner of my eye that this person that was been my cellmate for several months had gone back in, done the whole, the sheet blanket up, got all his stuff, and then just carried it up in a big, Christmas sack bundle, up to his one. So I thought nothing of it.
mm,
And then, as I said, when I walked back in, proceeded to look at the shelf, and half the stuff on my shelf was gone. And I was going to have a tidy up, shave a bit, and
mm,
and I was still going to brush my teeth that night.
mm,
And I was actually thinking, I'll give most of my stuff to him since I
mm,
spent most of the time with him. But yeah, I just realised he'd stolen, half of my stuff. But it
uh,
also wasn't just that. It was, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. And then he
yeah,
gave me some things. And then when I asked for some more, he's like, oh, I swear I haven't got it. I said,
yeah,
that's what you said about the stuff you just gave me. And as I said, it's because it happened like 4 times in a row. And I thought everything had been given. It's just that two people had said, we can see your stuff in the baggies, those little bags they give you to go do your washing in.
yeah,
Yeah, he'd stuffed some of my stuff in that obviously didn't fit in the bed sheets.
yeah.
He had it in that as well.
Sneaky. There's a lot of theft and stuff in prison. I used to get my milk thieved a lot, but I used to sort that out. I used to like open my milk carton, piss in it,
Uh,
put it back in the fridge, and it'd be gone next day.
no, that was the number one thing was the
Milk.
PTing of milk.
Oh, it was worse.
Because the MRC, like, you didn't get your whatevers and stuff, and they'd give you your dinners in like those polystyrene things. You got your plastic
Mm,
knife and fork.
mm,
But yeah, down at Fulham, you get your plastic bowl and stuff, but then you get your metal knife and fork, and then you've got all the knives on the chains and stuff with the
yeah,
benches.
yeah.
So yeah, that was always a thing. I'd wake up. I had the fridge right near my cell door. I was in cell number 5. I was in L7, and
Mm,
so yeah, no. Every morning I'd get up and my milk was there because it's me. No one's going to mess with my milk. But yeah, there was always at least one person. All right,
yeah, I
where's my
know.
milk? Where's my milk gone?
Yeah,
So yeah, it was very bad that people would steal milk and just whatever. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, the good old days. What's your current living situation?
currently living in a building around the corner.
Yeah,
Um, when I moved to my bail address in Bendigo, I lived with a housemate that drank almost a cask of wine a day,
Mm.
red wine. He'd gone from the red wine to the ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
having a twirl,
Mm.
and we're starting to hear voices. And had tried to commit suicide.
Oh
He
no.
tried to use electrical cord to hang himself from a bridge. So I got him some help, and they got him into a psych ward. But then one day I went home. I think it was from the gym, and he tried to kill me. So I went to the cop shop and just said, "Hey, I know this is my bail address, but it's no
Yeah.
longer safe to stay there." So I was homeless at the end of last year for about 4 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started going. My job provider agency lady had topped up my key, you know, to look for work. And so I'd get the train backwards and forwards to Melbourne and sleep on the train, especially on the weekends when they did the bus. I'd get like the bus back to Bendigo at like 2 in the morning, sleep till 4, then got like a 5 o'clock Sunday train
Mm.
back down here so I could still get the night's sleep. So yeah, when I got down here, I was on the street in Grey Street where they have their crisis accommodation centre,
Mm-hmm.
and they helped me out once, get me into the building. When now, then I had another guy from the Salvation Army the very next day. I said, you know, I'm trying to get some help with that again, and he actually came to where I'm staying and actually paid for a night for me. Um, the biggest one was that I went to Box Hill housing was amazing, but not very pleasant. I
Mm.
went there and said I'd actually had my phone stolen off another homeless person,
Mm.
and I rang it for a couple of days. Said, "Listen, mate, it's got my son's contact. It's got photos and stuff. Can I have it back?" He actually said, "Yeah, you can have it back, but I'm going to sell it back to you." He goes, "I brought it off the guy that sold it off you, that stole it off you." And I actually had to go meet him in Clarendon Street, and I had to buy it back off him.
Mm.
But that's why I went to. I paid for 4 nights where I am now, and I went to Box Hill Housing and said, "Listen, I've actually got a plan. This is how much my room costs. This is how much it's going to cost you to help me out. It's 9 nights. It's going to be $362.
Mm.
Can you help me out?" They apparently, I don't know if they call my old landlord, private landlord, and yeah, he's been in the same house for 17 years. Never had the police around. No damage to it. This, that, and other. The lady come back to me. She goes, "We won't worry about where you're staying now. Here's a contract lease for you to stay in a 2 bedroom apartment by yourself somewhere in the city, whether it was going to be South Yarra, Footscray, North Melbourne, one of those high
Yeah.
rise buildings, maybe. I'm just assuming because it
Yeah.
was Box Hill housing." And she actually slid the 12-month lease over and for me to sign. And then I just hate having to just my brain just tells the truth straight away. She's I've just got to ask for legal reasons. Have you ever been in trouble with the police? I said I shouldn't have been, but I have. Have you ever been to prison? Yes. Have you got any outstanding matters with the court? I'm like, yes. Is there any chance you may go back to jail? I said yes. I said I shouldn't, but I say I might. And so yeah, it was physically painful that she didn't even just let me leave. She picked up my 12-month contract and inserted it in a paper shredder in front of me. So yeah, that's why I'm still living in Elizabeth Street today in the same building.
Wow.
But and that's the biggest one with the court situation is
Yeah.
the fact that I'm qualified to do construction and I can use a front end loader and a backhoe and a steamroller and a skid steer and all the other
Yeah.
stuff.
Wow.
And I could get a job even down in the tunnels,
Yeah.
making like $3,000 a week. But that's always going to be that first question is, oh, in a month's time, I'm probably going to need a week off to go to court for a trial.
Mm.
And it's been pending all year. It's been adjourned and moved around and moved to Shepparton, moved back to Melbourne. They're even going to chuck the case out, but now they're going to keep it. And so that's the whole thing with employment. That
Mm.
if I could have got a job doing that, then I could get an apartment for myself. So it's going to be really good for this to come to a loggerhead. I don't want to go back to prison,
Mm.
but I have a place to stay, and then it's all finished if and when I get out. And then, as I said, if I win the case, I'm contemplating suing.
Mm.
There's a lot of things that haven't gone right, and then I was going to make a complaint to IBAC about it. There's been some dodgy police work,
Mm.
um, but yeah, so that's what I'm saying. At the moment, I can't get my own flat, my own job, and then obviously prison, you got your cell and you got your 3 meals a day, and you can work in there and you can do whatever. So
Mm.
at the moment, I'm stuck in this limbo where I can't get my own apartment, my own job. So
Makes sense, man.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Painful. All right, man. Do you have a partner at the moment?
Oh, I'm going to give you the short answer for it, but a little bit Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Um, as I said, I won't mention her name for legal reasons,
Yeah.
just in case she may or may not have an issue with it.
Yeah.
She, how do we put it? Um, she also has a drug dependency issue.
Mm.
Um, she also is hypothetically, occasionally, a lady of the night, and she's currently gone from a housing situation back to being what they call a rough sleeper. I
Mm-hmm.
call them freedom sleepers, but they call them rough sleepers now. Do you self-identify as a rough sleeper?
Yeah.
So um, we'd spent some time getting to know each other for the first 6 months of the year. She had spoken to me about living together and dating each other, and yeah, it's one of those things where everyone I've spoken to about this, whether they're smart, male, female, black or white, have all come to the same conclusion when I've said that I don't want to be with her for 20 to 25 weeks, um, facing the fact that my first charge in the county court in the trial could carry a maximum of 25 years.
Mm.
So the whole reason why we're not together is because I don't want to really get to know her really well and form that really strong bond, and then suddenly I'm ripped away and torn away. That's going to hurt me and hurt us. That I didn't want to break her heart,
Yeah.
but this lady in question, Josh, doesn't want to commit to living together. He doesn't want to hold my hand, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's I could see myself because she has to get those things together.
Yeah.
She also is estranged from her children.
Yeah.
So once again, I won't say her name or their names, but
Yeah.
so I've got I'm going a million miles an hour that way, and she's all the way down that end.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's kind of yeah. I go on a lot of dates with ladies,
Mm.
and as I said, there was a lady that was wanting me to take her to dinner tonight.
Yeah.
That was like, "Oh, fine, then you got something else to do," and then I'm just like, "Give us an extra hour,
Yeah. I
and we
could
can
see
hang
how
out."
you'd
So
be a bit of a sweet talker, and women would be
yes,
pretty
so
attracted.
I've gone out with yeah, I go on dates weekly.
Yeah.
It's surprising how many independent ladies are out there. Some people have asked me if I'm a gigolo. They see we see with so many women on so many different dates, but the women now being the strong independent women they are, they're like, I will pay for it. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, well, at least let me pay my half. You want to be a strong independent woman?
Where?
But I'm the man, so let's go half. I'll meet you
Yeah.
halfway. They're like,
Yeah.
no, we're paying for the date. We're doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I always bring out the joke, the adage of, "Will you pay for dinner?" Does that mean I have to put out? Um, but yeah, so we've actually had conversations with other ladies. That the one that was wanting dinner tonight, that she started dropping the L bomb,
Oh yeah.
and I just had to pull up one day and said, I know that you and I have been out for dinner, and you and I have spent quality time in the position of coitus, but I've said, this is the person. I've told her the story, and she knows the person, and I said, that's just I love that lady, and you love me, and I don't want to date you with you thinking that I love you when we both know that I love this other lady.
Yeah. Fair call.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's happened with a couple of circumstances. I took a lovely lady that I still reckon she's a model of some sort. She keeps trying to hide it because she said she's done some work with Specsavers. She's a very attractive British lady, but there was a bit of an age gap.
Yeah.
Um, I'm full 42. I was 41 at the time, and she was 25. She's from England. And so there was, once again, there's a bit of an age gap. She's got to go back to the UK, and I've got my legal issues.
Mm.
So we had to agree to be at the end of things. I took her on a date as well. We went to dinner, we went to the movies, we went to Lygon Street for dessert. So, but then I took her back to where she was staying. But
Yeah.
there's been two or three ladies where I wouldn't mind dating, but I can't do it because of this. But
Yeah.
yeah, it all boils back to that
So,
one lady that like, she hates me because she thinks that I don't love her,
yeah.
but I do love her. So she wants me to love her, and I
Yeah.
do love her, but she doesn't believe me because I won't commit to dating and living together and stuff like that. But it's only because I know how bad it's going to be for both of us, that we're both emotional people, that it's going to be pretty hard to say goodbye. I'll see you in 2 decades.
Yeah, so
So
you're a bit of a sweetheart
yeah,
down to the core, but I reckon at the end of the day, if she's willing to stand by you and support you no matter what,
yeah,
it's good to have that there, especially when you're inside.
yeah,
It may come with some stress at times, but
yeah.
if she's willing to take that on, I
Yeah.
reckon, man, go
And
for it.
because that's what I've said to a lot of people, like as far as me with her, because a lot of people say, Jesus, you could do better, you this, that, and the other. But that's why I've said that I do recognise that I have said that on her bad days she is pretty FUBAR, which is a 5-letter acronym. Not sure I'm allowed to swear on the channel, but it's in the movie. What is it? Tango and Cash.
Yeah,
FUBAR. It's one of the favourite things. So I know how bad she is. I've seen her on her bad days. I've seen her drunk.
yeah,
I've seen her high.
mm,
I've actually had to stand with her at a certain place because she was drunk at 6 o'clock at night rather than eating dinner.
mm,
And there was guys talking about doing things to her, and I had to stand there for 5 hours. I was just about to leave the market,
yeah.
and 2 of the 5 guys come back to do things to her. So I was really glad that I stayed there the night. But yeah, so
Mm. Yeah, so having that stress, if you were
yeah.
to get locked up, you sort of don't need that as well at the same
Yeah,
time.
but because that's what I'm just saying, that I've seen the bad side of it, but her good side.
Mm.
She's very kind and caring and generous. And
Everyone's got a good side,
no,
man.
but that's what I'm just saying though, that her,
Yeah,
her bad side is a 10 out of 10,
yeah,
but her good side's like 11 out of 10.
yeah,
It is a pretty close call.
yeah,
But I also tell people that if I don't love her on her bad days, then I have no right, love her on her good days. Like,
yeah,
oh, it's a good day. I love this woman. Let's have fun. I'm there for you. And then there's some speed humps and bumps and homelessness and some arguments and some issues over mental health. And
yeah.
I just suddenly go, oh, you're not worth it. See you later. Go away.
But no,
So yeah, I'm still doing my best to. We always bump into each other.
yeah,
Whether it's for, I could probably say the places that I go to have lunch or dinner or whatever. If I end up in the living room or the market, big
yeah,
market, or if I end out at Osmond, we
yeah,
bumped into each other about 1,000 times. But yeah, so yeah, it's one of those things that both of us really really want, but neither of us are kind of budging. We did have a falling out after my birthday over something that, as I said, I won't say because it's up to her if she wants it said. But we did have a falling out. But yeah, it's still one of those things that
yeah,
yeah. So, but growing up as the only child, I spent, I think it was 15 years out of the 18 years as a single dad as well. So when I
yeah,
grew up in
yeah,
Wallen, it was like 16 years an only child, and then the 15 years out of the 18 years as a single dad, there was just me, my son, and the cat and the guinea pig.
yeah,
That I've never been one of those ones that, oh, I haven't got a missus, I need to go get one.
yeah,
Because as I said, I get women that ask me out daily.
yeah. So you've always been independent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I just need to stress that that a beautiful woman that you met the other day with me.
yeah,
It's not my side piece either.
yeah.
She gives me that many cuddles. The woman that we were talking about,
She's
and
lovely.
she blows raspberries on my chest and
Yeah.
smacks me on the bum, and I tell her to grab her cankles, and she starts twerking. So, but yeah, even in her 70s and 4 foot tall and 180 kilos.
Yeah.
So yeah, some people have even said, what's going on with you and that lady, and I'm
Yeah.
like, just like, yeah, she asked me to like walk her from the market down to the soup van and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Feel safe with you.
yeah,
She's so lovely.
yeah.
She's so lovely. So going back to the upcoming court, do you want to share a little bit about what's happening there, or?
So it initially started that it was going to be heard. I think it was January the 10th was when I was supposed to be remanded till, and then the first one got adjourned because first time I met legal aid. Then we had like 2 months later we had another one. There was another adjournment, and I was having to travel. That was a big one because I was in Bendigo. I could never travel from Bendigo straight to Shepparton because it was only a bus. But it would always, I could get up at 5:30 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, but it was always going to get to Shepparton at like 10:15, 10:45, and I
Yeah.
had to be there at 9:30. So I had several nights where I had to go from Bendigo to Melbourne, and I used to sleep on those big red steps down South Bank.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I used to have to. I already did the homeless thing, was like sleeping on the steps up there, and then I'd have to do the 3 hour train ride to Shepparton. It'd get adjourned. Then I have to do a 3 hour one back instead of just doing a teleconference.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had 5 or 6 goes at the magistrates court in Shepparton. The very last one did my head in. I think there's 15 charges, and there's 15 lots of evidence, but it's all circumstantial.
Mm-hmm.
None of it ties, like they tie, like there's the charges, there's the evidence, but then it kind of just, everything falls away when they try to tie things together,
Okay.
which is why it's dragged on so long, and that's why it's going to trial, because they don't actually have much to say yet. That is 100% definite, 100% definite.
Yeah.
It's just like 100% we don't really know, so we're going to go through it. But that was the heartbreaking one. The last day of the magistrates court one, before it went to the county court, was about June, July last year. And the judge actually sat there looking at me going, Mr. Bullock, there's enough circumstantial evidence to actually throw this case, but because of the seriousness of the alleged offending, he goes, I'm just going to put up to the county court to see if they come to the same conclusion as him. So,
Right.
so at least 13 out of the 15
That's a good
could
sign.
have just been chucked. But
What's the allegations, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll keep that one just to myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
Only because they've gone as far as to, I had originally only had 11 charges. I was going to, there's a place where you go called the Big Umbrella at Federation Square. There was a man that I was actually in prison with down at Fulham. And he got in trouble for allegedly harassing ladies down there. Next minute, he turned up to another early breakfast one morning and said, Jesus, why are you looking a bit sad, somber? I said, the British lady's moving from Victoria, but we've agreed to have a date Friday night when I took her out to the movie stuff. But then I've got my first thing of the county court coming on Monday. And he started talking to me, and he then suddenly said about something about this charge. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've got 11 charges, and they're all these. I said, what are you bringing up this for? I don't have that as one of my charges. I kid you not. I get to the county court one. They go, yeah, well, go see your lawyer's office tomorrow. We'll have your telecourt to Shepparton, where they'll put you in the circuit, figure out your order in your circuit, and try to give you a proper date. And then the judge started reading out my charges. And I'm like, to my lawyer, I even said to him, I've got 11 charges. That's 15 charges. And the biggest thing was that this mate that I was in prison with actually said that he didn't say, but one of the charges that he brought up was there. And then as soon as that happened, he had clothing. He was staying out at a place for housing. He had a new phone. He was clean shaven. So my understanding of that situation was that he'd got in trouble for that. They may have questioned him, hey, don't you know Jesus? Don't you know Josh? Do you want to go and ask him some questions about it? And then suddenly, as I said, he knew my new charge before I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got nothing to hide. So so it's not murder.
Yeah.
There's no kids involved. There's no terrorism. Because some people get a bit upset when they go, "Oh, you got something to hide." I've got it working with Children's Check. I was in general population, so it's none of that. Yeah, as I said, there's been some dodgy tactics by police. I even there was a lady friend who had some issues with her partner. They were both intoxicated. They're both physical towards each other. They're both friends, but they're both drongos. And they actually had a falling out where the police actually turned up and were going to arrest him, but he was bleeding and stuff like that. And he actually had one of his court issues dealt with yesterday. And she actually called me for help, and she wanted me to go with her to the police station to feel safe. As soon as we got to the police station, and she come out and said, they're going to be a while with her, this, that, and other. And I'm like, this is okay. This is back in February, March this year. As soon as I saw her when she come out, she goes, oh, I'll be right. I'll be here for a couple more hours. And then the next time I saw her after that incident, I said, you okay? What are you doing? I'm checking on him, checking on her, trying to be a good friend to both, not loving or hating both, because they both have a couple of drinks and they both go down swinging. There's a high chance that she's going to hit me more than him. But yeah, she goes, oh, it was weird. I go, what do you mean it was weird? She goes, half the time I spent talking to the police, they were talking about you. I said, what? They go, oh, is he a nice guy? Is he a violent guy? Does he break the law a lot? Does he use drugs? Do you know much about this? Do you know much about that? So that's what I'm saying. I've got no problem to telling
Yeah.
some people, like one or two very, very, very close people, everything about it. It's just, yeah, with the dodginess of the tactics of the police.
From what I'm hearing, it sounds like I think court will go good for you. It
Yeah,
sounds like the police are scratching around for evidence. I think by the sound of it, your old prison mate is talking some rubbish and trying
yeah,
to put you under the bus,
yeah.
and it's going to counter court.
Yeah.
So I think you're all right,
So
man.
yeah, yeah. All last year in Bendigo with the mate that I was staying at bail
Hmm.
and two or three close friends, they know almost everything inside, outside, up, down, every charge. Even when I was going through it at the time, and then the death threats.
Make sure you got those people for witnesses and
Yeah,
statements,
but
man.
yeah, so yeah, those people that know everything. But as soon as these dodgy things started happening like this,
Hmm.
and then someone will ask me, and they go, "Well, why are you getting defensive? Why are you not saying nothing?" I
Hmm.
said, "Because the police have such a dodgy case against me
Yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
stretching that
Zip
far."
it. Yeah.
There was an incident earlier in 2022 that relates to this.
Hmm.
Um, and then when they attended my property, I'd had an issue with another person, and when my lawyer looked it up this year, because I had some issues with this other person, and there was court orders against the other person, and I'd asked them to not have don't press charges, no assault charges, no court
Hmm.
orders,
Hmm.
restraining orders, no nothing. The person's mother passed away earlier that year. They drink a fair bit. I said, get them for help for drug and alcohol counselling. I said, I'm a
Hmm.
Christian. I said, let's help them out instead of screwing their lives over more. But yeah, when my lawyers look it up now, it's the other person rang and then they attended, and then the other person asked for me to have drug and alcohol counselling and anger management counselling. So, but the problem was when I got my court order back in 2022, I went to the Orange Door Society. I went to Beyond Housing. I went to there's a whole
Hmm.
stack of evidence where I used that police report that says that I was the one that said, get him some help, get him some this. And so between now, since then and now, someone in the police force has physically changed. The
Yeah.
other person was the one that said it, not that I was the one that said it. And I said to my lawyer and everyone else, get the footage. They had the camera going. My son was a witness. My son was there at the time. My son was interviewed. Oh, we can't find, any record of his son giving evidence. We can't find the camera footage.
Not good enough.
And that's what I've said to a couple. I've even said it to some of the police when I've spoken to them. I said, if I had accused the male officer that attended back in May 2022 of, getting a bit roughhousing, I said, you guys pull up oh, look, we've got the footage. You didn't do nothing wrong.
Hmm.
If I had said that the lady that turned up had patted me down instead of the guy
Hmm.
and gotten too close to an armpit or a groin or something,
Hmm.
you guys would have gone, see, she didn't, sexually touch you inappropriately. But now that I need it, they're like, oh, we can't find it, or it may have been deleted, and
Yeah.
it actually ties in with the whole thing. So that was that big thing in Shepparton when the judge went to throw it out. They actually had my bail set to where I couldn't leave the Greater Western City of Bendigo,
Hmm.
so Huntley, White Hills, and Golden Square. My mum lives in Pylon, which is only like 10 minutes from Heathcote, and I couldn't go there for 9 months. They would always have to come to me at Bendigo, so anyone could come and visit me. But my dad in Gippsland, my son in Melbourne, I couldn't go to visit anyone.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what happened that last time in Shepparton when he went to chuck it. Oh, so this other person brought alcohol. So I was at this other person's house another day, and all the lies that were told
Hmm.
originally that got me sentenced to remand and got the death threats and everything else had started to unravel to the point where the judge had actually said, Mr. Bullock's been stuck in Bendigo for 9 months.
Hmm.
It's been 20 years, nothing, and
Yeah.
these are only allegations, innocent to prove guilty. I almost fell over when he said that. It sounded like someone that's not on my side, but it's on the side of justice,
Hmm.
not my side of the police side.
Sounds like
And
that too, man. Yeah.
so yeah, it was actually the police prosecution just piped up and said, Mr. Pickering goes, oh, we can't have him out. Mr. Bullock's the most violent, heinous, and he scares everyone, and he's this, that, and other. And then so it was actually the police informant hearing all this BS. She actually come forward and said, maybe we could actually let him go everywhere other than this one town in Victoria. I won't say it. But yeah, we'll let him go everywhere else. It was one of those Facebook, YouTube ones. It was at this point they knew they had fornicated under carnal knowledge. Yeah, and so it's kind of the thing where the police have now got him in a situation where they've known they've messed up, but it's too late to go, oops, sorry, we need to drop all these charges, we need to apologise.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You really need to start scratching around and just really revealing the issues in the case, man.
Yeah.
I reckon. All right. So, what are you grateful for, Josh?
Uh, well, that's one thing. I'd probably say that I've recently done a fair bit of stuff. I've got a friend that goes to Scientology.
Okay.
I went out there and I did a course out there to try and help the lady I care about.
Yeah.
It was a course in what is it? According to Scientology, not me. According to Scientology, the course I did now makes me a qualified trauma counselor, according to them. Um, and I went through a couple of counselling sessions where there was a guy that's fairly heavy, high up in Scientology, where they actually wanted to help me go clear, and they talk about a whole lot of stuff from your past, your parents, or any abuse or any of this other stuff you want to bring up, but they always end the session with what makes you happy. You know, what's one of your happy memories. They try to, even though you've dug around some trauma, they try to end it on a positive note.
Yeah.
And I said that, it was my pet dog growing up. It was like my best friend sort of thing.
Yeah.
That used to make me happy, and when I was ever sad or sick, whatever. And then the second session I had, they said that this was a couple of months ago. They said, what else? What makes you happy? What's a happy memory? And I actually said, the time that young lady I'm talking about that has her issues, the time we ate Mexican food, the time we wore each other's jumpers, the time we did this, and the time we did that. So yeah, it's like friends and animals and stuff like that just kind of makes me happy. I kind of get told off a lot for helping too many people, that I don't spend enough time focused on my own issues. I spend a lot of time helping people, and they even say with relationships, I get told that I have the greatest relationship advice of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, it's my only one that's complicated because someone said it the other day. Someone said it almost seems like there's about a billion people, a billion women madly in love with me. They want to have kids, relationships, whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it's love or like or psychotic infatuations.
Yeah.
But the one lady that I have feelings for, and it's complicated.
Yeah.
So it's weird how that one works. It's a bit of an irony. But yeah, so I just I'm probably at my happiest making other people happy, or helping people fix their lives, or
that's so good, man.
Do whatever. So
yeah, that's so good. What about regrets? Do you have any regrets?
Yes, but no. Yes, but no. Probably the one biggest one I had. Because even though I'm a well-behaved young man, it's not a legal one. I did cheat on a partner once. And someone said, Jesus, would you ever change it? And I'm like, yes, but no. And they're like, no, it's got to be yes or no. And I said, well, I would change it so I didn't cheat, so it would help heal her, or she wouldn't have got hurt in the first place. But the pain that I cause that person is kind of what stops me from doing it again. I said, if someone cheats on me, I don't really care, but it's more so the fact that I was the person that caused someone else some emotional pain that kind of hurts the most. And that's one of the funniest things was that I was only 14 at the time, and she was 16. However, I actually haven't grown since I was about 12. I was in a different country, but I actually did have sexual relations with several ladies over 18 in like a 10-day span in Fiji. So it wasn't like I was holding hands with another girl in my town.
Yeah.
I was spending time with another lady, and then another two ladies at the same time, and so on and so forth. And it was only when I got back, and it was one of those, I told someone it was one of my most surreal experiences I ever had when I got back and I saw her. I got on the bus in Wallen. I went to the school where I was going to high school, which wasn't Wallen, because they didn't have the high school back then. And I said it was a bit like Gandalf in the Two Towers, when he rides over the thing and he tells them to look to the east or whatever it is, and they look over, the sun rises and it's like a flashbang. Okay. I said it was one of these things where I'd gotten off the bus and she'd walked out the building of the high school, and I said it was the bus, the sun coming over the rising above the bus, and it just shone on her at the same time she come out of the door. And it just hit me like a brick. I was walking off that bus with a tan. I've been to another country. I've been with all these ladies, and it was just like being hit by a Mack truck. It was just, the guilt, the regret of just, it was like, bam. I'm like, now I can tell all my mates, but I also have to tell the missus.
Yeah.
And because as I said, I was 14, she was 16, so I was in year 8, she was in year 10. But she was Australian, but she was a Japanese teacher's daughter, so she was fluent in Japanese.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was one of those things where she was a very kind and caring person. She was funny and she was definitely intelligent. She
Yeah.
had a high IQ, and it was just one of those things that I've just had the most amazing time of my life, but now one of the most amazing ladies in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so, and that was probably the worst. I don't know if it was the worst thing. We actually, I kid you not, I wish I had done it sooner, like just on the same day. We kind of hypothetically accidentally dated for like the rest of the term
Yeah.
before I kind of like had to say something. And
Oh,
because
by the way.
I've just being honest, because it's going to make me sound horrible, but it just the way that it happened.
Yeah.
We got to the Christmas break, and I think her birthday, I won't say the proper date, but it's in the first week of January. I accidentally broke up because she actually lived down here in towards Melbourne.
Yeah.
Her mum was a teacher there, used to have to drive like 2 hours just to get to school.
Mm.
But yeah, so I would have done it in person if we lived in the same town. So I did it via phone. It'd take me 4 months to tell her, and don't swing at me. It was 2 days before her birthday. So I was one of those ones that I wasn't going to do it on her birthday.
Yeah.
But do I let her have fun on her birthday? And then do I say it afterwards?
Yeah.
So she can at least have fun for her birthday.
Either way.
Or do I do it before her birthday, 2 days before her birthday, and then she can cheer herself up on her birthday and lift her spirits. So once again, I was still trying to be nice, even though I was the one that cheated, and I was a horrible, I was a horrible boyfriend. So I was a perfect boyfriend up until that point, and after the cheating. But yeah, when I cheated, but then also it took me a time to tell her. But then, as I said, so she took it kind of well-ish.
But you learned a lesson or two along the way.
So yeah, no, because that's what I say to the several girlfriends that I've had since. Oh yeah, no, all these women talk to you, and you're going to cheat on me, this, that, and the other. And I said, I'm not going to cheat on you, not because I don't want to, or not because I can't. It's just that it's me.
Yeah.
I'm a good person. I don't want to hurt you. So I said, I will always tell you. You won't have to worry about finding lingerie or me scooting off.
Yeah.
I said, I will break you up with you first.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be the same day,
Yeah.
but that's what I say to him. That you'll be the first to know that we're not a couple.
Yeah.
So I said, once we break up, I said I'm free to do whatever, wherever, with whoever.
Yeah.
But I said you'll never hear it from someone else. And so yeah. So as I said, I've still tried to maintain that thing. So there's plenty of dates, but that's why I tell all of them.
Yeah.
That I'm single, and that a couple of them have done that whole "you're scared of commitment, Jesus, you don't want whatever," and that's what I've basically said to all of them. That what you said. You're going to wait for me because at the moment it's 25 years for the first relationship, not relationship, the charge, the maximum, and then it's 15, 15, 10, 10, 10. I think I was led to believe that it was a year of offer of 5 years and 2.5 good behaviour. That the police prosecution were going to recommend or request the maximum grading, the max. So that's what the barrister said. He said, if I accepted the offer, that because Port Phillip's shutting down and MRC is just a remand, he said you most likely would serve it was going to be, I think it was going to be 4 years and 6 months. And yeah, then it was going to be 2.5 years good behaviour.
I'd be careful accepting anything like that before you sift through everything, man.
Yeah, so that's what they gave me a week.
Yeah.
And then I've told them no.
Oh, okay.
So it's either win.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take legal action. I'm going to sue, have a chat to IBAC.
Yeah.
See, I've lost my house and car because of it, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or so that's where, as I said, I could be 10, 15 years. Or more. So that's the one with the lady in question. Is that if I do get locked up, she's going to have to not forget that we met, but she's going to have to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to stay away from her, so we can, I can let her move on peace free. But that's what I've said to several people that if I win, whether I I can sue for financial compensation. I said the first thing we've already done we are going to date, we're not going to date, we love each other, we hate each other, we've argued, we've had fun times already, but I'd have no problem rocking up to a jewelry shop. If things go well. So it's not just live where I live and where I work.
Yeah.
It's also that relationship limbo that So that's not really, that's kind of tied in with the regret one that
Yeah.
if I didn't have my issues, that I could have helped her more with her issues, and we could have been a couple sooner. And
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed, bro. What means the most to you?
Probably friends,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So no, that's why a lot of people say, like when I've had stuff and just given stuff away and just done other stuff, that it was a bit like it was Han in the Tokyo Drift one. When Lucas Black trashes his car and he said, I've got plenty of money and plenty of cars, he needs people around that he can trust and stuff like that. And the whole Paul Walker one in the first one, or it was, where he's not just racing for the cash, but for his pink slip, the respect and sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got a lot of friends with a lot of money, but when people see me hanging out with like homeless people or people missing teeth or ugly people or gay people or whatever, it's just like they're nice to me. You've got a lot of money and you're better looking, but you're a bit of a not very pleasant person to hang around with. So So I'm not a big fan, fan of money at all.
Yeah.
I kind of hate the financial system. The sooner it implodes, the better. So it's just friends, making people happy and stuff like that. Trying to help people out. Try not to hurt people along the way.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen, but nothing intentionally.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's why, as I said, just if you do get to meet a certain Spaniard friend.
Yeah.
So as I said, he may have more things to say in his story, but his life's gone up and down and been good and bad this year. But we've just stayed friends the whole way along. So
yeah. All right, Josh. What a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure to hear your story. Thanks for sharing, bro. I wish all the best for you in court and everything like that. I'll be praying for you, bro. And good luck with your future relationships and everything like that.
I'll bring her to meet you if it works out. I'll bring her to meet you.
Mate, we'll do another catch-up video if everything goes well, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless you, bro. Thanks, man.
Thanks.